Greetings, students. So as we head into a new unit here in AP Biology, I thought it'd be a good time to kind of pause and think about just the process of learning. And so I present to you stages of learning as made up by me. So the first phase is basically what I call information delivery. So that's just where here's what you need to know. So somebody's telling you what you need to know. Now, the issue with information delivery is that oftentimes you're presented with the information faster than you're able to really take it all in. A live lecture is probably the most obvious example of this, where the teacher's talking, you're writing all the notes down, and there's some things that maybe don't make sense, but there's not really time to ask about it, and it's going too fast. You just kind of throw all the notes down. Um, and so an analogy for this is kind of like packing a suitcase. All these things are being thrown at you, and your job is to just shove them in that suitcase. Okay, I need to know this, I need to know this, and you just shove it in there as fast as you can. And you're struggling to manage it because it's just too much all at one spot. So examples of places where information delivery is happening would be lecture, a textbook, a video or screencast. Basically this whole folder on the Schoology page with the study guide, notes, and screencasts, all of that is kind of the information delivered. Here's what you need to know. So because this is happening oftentimes faster than you're able to really take it in, your suitcase is a mess. So what you need to do next is you need to process that information. So this is kind of like when you organize your suitcase. You're sort of figuring out what you have and you're laying it all out neatly and organizing it so that you have a way that it makes sense to you. Um, Ways that you can do this very important step of processing. One, actively taking notes. Don't just sort of blindly copy the words from a PowerPoint down and not think about it. You have to think about what those words are. So engage listening during a lecture or screencast, using that study guide outline to see how ideas fit together and then kind of building a bigger picture, seeing how it connects to other ideas, asking questions or marking areas of uncertainty to read about or ask about later. All of these things will help you get a little bit more out of that information. Another one is actively reading. So the textbook, I think, is an underutilized resource here in AP Biology. But for sure, go to that book. And as you're reading the book, again, page numbers are on the study guide, add to your notes while reading that book. So if there was an area that was unclear during the lecture, take that book out, figure it out, and just add some sentences as you kind of make sense of what that was. So as you read that book, you're making the notes more thorough to ensure that you're understanding each concept. You're figuring out areas of uncertainty and again, writing out steps to kind of clarify that for yourself. And then you might even supplement it with additional information like, oh, as I read this, all of a sudden this is making more sense than it did in class. I'll add that to my notes. Other examples of processing, completing those homework packets is hugely important to kind of make sense of that information. POGL exercises and other group discussion activities. And lab activities as well. All of this is helping you take all that information that was dumped into your brain during lecture and kind of make it your own, so to speak. The last step is practice. So it's not enough just to pack your suitcase, you also have to be able to unpack your suitcase. In other words, you have to be able to retrieve that information from your brain. And again, the better and more organized you pack your suitcase, the more easily you will be able to get the information you need from it. So again, there's lots of exercises and opportunities available for practice. Those practice Schoology quizzes, the practice FRQs on Schoology, there's AP classroom assessments, there's practice questions at the end of each chapter in your textbook. You can even redo the homework packet, and then there's like a bajillion online resources such as Quizlet and other things. So note that all of these things I kind of made it sound like it's sort of one, then the next, and the next, but they do interact and affect one another. So they kind of interlock in this gear-like way. So a useful thing to think about as we head into this next unit, how are you doing with AP Biology? And if you think maybe it might be useful to sort of reassess your approach, maybe think about this a little bit. How organized is your suitcase? How good a job are you doing packing? How well are you able to retrieve? And so what techniques do you think you're going to try as you move forward into the next unit? So that's all I've got. Thanks.